and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing a first impression demo review and wear test on the brand new True Skin Hydrating Foundation from Catrice. I've heard really good things about this so far, and you guys know I love a full coverage hydrating dewy foundation. So if you're interested in seeing how I feel about this and seeing how it wears throughout the day with masks, etc., then just keep on watching. First up, with all of my product reviews, I like to go over all of the product statistics, information, description, pricing, etc., so that we know what to base our claims on if there's a specific way the foundation is made to be worn. This is the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. It retails on Shoppers for $13.99, which is where I purchased mine. Anything below $15 I feel like is acceptable for a foundation, so I say that's okay. Enhance your true skin with the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. This long-wearing vegan formula has medium buildable coverage that gives your skin a natural, real skin finish. So far, it sounds very similar to the Anastasia, the Luminous Foundation. That one is also medium buildable, long-wearing, and vegan, and like a hydrating foundation, and it's one of my favorites, so sounds very similar. Formulated with hyaluronic acid and watermelon seed oil for intense hydration. This has an ultra lightweight texture that melts into the skin. Available in 20 shades. That's really good. We love to see a good shade range, and the shades are well distributed. Shoppers doesn't have all 20 shades. I believe they have 10 here. But the shades, from what I can tell, appear to be well distributed. It's not all light shades and then one dark shade, which I like to factor in as well. So it says the benefits to the foundation are that it is long wearing, hydrating, medium coverage, buildable, and then made with hyaluronic acid, lightweight texture, cruelty-free, vegan, paraben-free, gluten-free. I picked up the shade Neutral Ivory 002N. Normally I will go for the lightest neutral or the lightest warm tone. So I went for Neutral Ivory, which does seem to be more on the warm side. It says to apply the foundation to clean, primed skin using a beauty sponge or foundation brush. Blend and build up to desired coverage. Foundation has buildable coverage. To achieve full coverage, use 2 pumps of foundation and blend into skin. I want to be full coverage today. I want to be flawless, and I also want to see how this builds up. So we are definitely going to do that. I have already gone in with moisturizer. I just used my Tatcha, the Dewy Skin Cream. Nice moisturizing base. My skin has been not as dry lately, so hopefully that will bode well for trying the foundation. I am going to prime though with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. If you guys watch my first impression reviews, you know this is always the primer I use because it just adds extra hydration. It doesn't alter the texture or finish of the foundation at all. Just gonna add a lot of moisture to the skin, which I always need. So I'm gonna go in with 4 pumps of this and just apply it all over the face. Skin feels really good, really nice and hydrated actually. And I thankfully don't really have any breakouts right now. These are all kind of flat scars that are just taking their time to leave my face. So I think once the foundation is on, we're gonna look pretty flawless and good. So let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to use my beauty sponge because that is my preferred pretty much everyday method of application. I'm using my Sephora Collection sponge, which is dampened. This is my favorite. It cleans super well. And I'm going to build it up because it does say that it is supposed to be buildable. So we're gonna test that out. Our coverage looks pretty good right away. This is how the skin is looking with that like about half a pump applied to this side of the face. I was able to take it around the chin pretty much up to here and a bit on the nose as well. So that's how it's looking. It's not looking as hydrating on the skin as I thought it was going to, like especially considering that I did go in with a hydrating moisturizer and primer beforehand. I do have dry skin, but as I said, it felt pretty hydrated before I went in with this, and I can definitely see the foundation sitting on top of my skin a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a bit more on this side of my face, work it up to the forehead, do a full pump this time, and see how this side looks. Coverage is definitely good though. I would say the like consistency of the foundation feels very similar to the Anastasia, if you're familiar with that. It's not a super thick formulation. It's definitely more of like a thin liquid that just has more coverage. I've now gone ahead and really blended in the rest of that last pump. So those are the only pumps of product that I applied to the skin. I don't feel like I need more than that or want more than that because it is starting to look slightly heavier on the skin. Could be because I've been really into wearing like tinted moisturizers every day, so maybe I'm just not used to seeing my face full coverage as frequently anymore. I've been doing really just tinted moisturizer and concealer every day, so it could just be me not being used to seeing my skin this way. But it does look a little bit drier than I would want for it to, considering it is like a hyaluronic acid hydrating foundation. Around my mouth and around my nose in particular are looking quite dry. I would say that the in between the brow area looks pretty good. Usually that is my biggest problem area, so not really having issue there, but definitely around my mouth and around my nose I'm a little bit dry. Coverage is definitely where I would want it to be. I feel very full coverage flawless. Once I get on my concealer and powder, we are going to be flawless. So I like the way the skin looks, definitely. With a little bit of setting spray, I think I can finesse it to get the finish dewiness that I really enjoy. Because it's not too dry, it's not too cakey, but I also wouldn't feel comfortable or want to personally apply more than what I did. I feel like this is giving me the coverage I want, and I think applying more would risk a cakey, dry situation. So I'm gonna leave the foundation as is. We did probably about 2 pumps. I wanna say like 1.5, but I think it was probably closer to 2 pumps. I also do think that the foundation looks a little bit lighter on the skin than it does in the bottle, which is interesting. We'll see if I notice that when I'm editing, but in the bottle it looks a little bit more warm toned, where on the face, to me at least, it looks a little bit more neutral and a little bit paler. That's how I'm feeling now with the skin. I think it looks good, a little bit more dry than I would like, but I like the coverage and I like the way it looks on my skin overall, just a little bit dry in certain areas. So I am gonna go ahead and conceal and powder and then come back and update you guys on how we're looking at that point. Go ahead, finish my makeup and do another update, and then we'll do the wear test check-ins. So for concealer, I'm going to go in with my favorite at the moment, my holy grail that I know works well with any foundation. I'm very comfortable with it. It is the Dior Forever Skin Correct. This concealer is just the best. It is in 0N is my shade, and it's really matches my face perfectly. I think the foundation is honestly looking slightly pale for me, potentially. My neck's pretty pale though too. I don't know. Anyway, this concealer is a good match for me. It's not like a brightening concealer at all. It's really just gonna match my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and spot conceal just a touch. The foundation really covered most of what I would need to. Conceal on the under eyes, and then for powder, I'm mainly just gonna set the under eyes, I think. We'll see, I'll let you know if I change my mind, but I'm just gonna use the Lawless Loose Setting Powder in Classic Translucent. So I'm gonna go off camera, do these 2 steps, and then come back and update on the face situation. But this is how we are looking currently with just like 2 pumps applied. I think it's looking pretty good, especially once we add setting spray and everything. I'm definitely into how we are looking so far, and I like how flawless it is. So I'll be back once I've applied those other steps. It has been a few minutes and I've gone ahead and just set my face with powder and also added just a little bit of concealer on my spots and under my eyes. And we are looking very flawless, but also very one-dimensional. I did go in with a little bit of my MAC Studio Fix powder and C15 just because it gives me that smooth, flawless look on my skin that I like. So I did that. So that added a little bit of coverage and also flawlessness. I just couldn't help myself. This is what we are looking like now. I think that it looks honestly really good. I think it's gonna make a really nice base for the makeup that I want to do today. I just wanna be very flawless, like soft glam. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my makeup off camera. I'm gonna play around because I have some other things to film and take photos of later. So it's currently 2:10. I need to leave my house by like 3:30, so I'm gonna go continue doing my makeup for another like half an hour, 40 minutes, and I will check back in. But as of now, I'm definitely very into it. Just a little bit dry for my skin currently, especially considering it's a hydrating foundation, but I like the finish and I like the coverage. It is now 2:45, so it's been like half an hour. I forget when I last talked to you guys. It's been a little bit since I last updated, and I just wanted to check in with my makeup done. I went for just like simple soft glam today because I'm going to do photos and some other stuff. So I wanted it to be like natural-ish. I think the foundation looks really, really good. Granted, I did put a decent amount of powder on top. I have also gone in with setting spray as well, and it's looking how I would want my foundation to look, especially for like taking photos or filming other videos. This is how I like for my base to look. So I definitely think it's a good foundation so far. It's just not as incredibly hydrating as I had expected. Didn't really leave any type of like dewy, glossy finish, which I usually like, but that's okay. I kind of achieved that with my highlight and my setting spray, etc. So I'm okay with the finish of the skin here. So I will go a little bit closer so you guys can see what exactly the skin is looking like. Really covered up everything super, super nicely. And I think we're looking at pretty smooth and flawless and how I like my foundation to look overall. So as of now, I think that this is definitely a good foundation, good for the price, just not as insanely hydrating as I had expected. But when I'm not using retinols and stuff, maybe I'll find that it is a little bit more hydrating on the skin. I am working a 5-hour shift tonight that involves me wearing a mask the whole time. So I'll check in around like 10:30 probably will be the end of the wear test. And it is currently 2:45. So we're gonna have at least an 8-hour wear test here, considering I've had the foundation already on now for a little bit. So that is where I'm at now. I think it looks really good, and let's see how it wears throughout the day through work and wearing a mask and etc. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. It's now time for the end of day check-in. It is currently 10:38. Hopefully you guys can see that there. And the foundation has been on for probably about 9 hours, 8.5 hours. I do have to talk quietly. I think it looks pretty good. Keep in mind, I had my mask on for 5 straight hours, and I think it looks pretty good. I think especially looking at like the forehead and top of the cheek area, which wasn't at all affected by the mask, I think it looks really good. I think it held up nicely. It wore nicely. I mean, it's definitely coming off a lot on my nose and around my mouth, but that's just from wearing a mask. Usually foundation wears fairly well on me because I have very dry skin. So usually, if anything, I like the way a foundation looks a little more at the end of the day, because then my natural oils, which are very few, have come through. So I really like how the forehead is looking, and I really like how the between the brow area is looking, which, as I said, is like my biggest trouble area with complexion products. So I really like it. I just wish it was maybe a touch more hydrating, but I definitely have primers like my Lila Be a Glow primer, some priming oils that I can use beforehand to give me the desired finish that I want with the foundation. So if you have more normal skin or even oily skin and you're scared that this is going to be too like dewy and hydrating on you, I don't really think that would be the case. I don't find it insanely hydrating. It is like a natural wear to me. It's not super hydrating. I'd be interested to compare this actually to the Catrice, the HD, Skin HD, something like that. I'll link it down below. That foundation from Catrice is one of my holy grail drugstore foundations. So I'd be interested to compare them side by side, because that one is more of a matte finish, natural matte. So I really have to prep the skin when I go in with that one, but it's a very flawless coverage, and I think the shade range on this new launch is better than that one as well. This definitely gets a thumbs up from me. I recommend. I will continue using and potentially repurchase. We'll see how much I use it. I have so many foundations. That is everything that I have for you guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have an absolutely awesome day. Bye.